Hi, Computer Science 1 class. It's Mrs. Miskin. We are done with our code.org unit in our class. Hopefully you were able to get through those last few lessons on sprites and then do your own project. If you have any of those lessons that are not done, please get them finished. I will be grading them very soon. If you get marked down in PowerSchool and go back and do them, I will regrade them and give you credit. Okay? I'm going to explain how we're going to do the next couple of weeks in our class using Google CS first. The CS stands for Computer Science. We're using a different program now. It's called Scratch. Many of you are probably familiar with it. There's a little bit different way that we're doing it. And so I've got a couple of instructions I'm going to give you. I'll share my screen and walk through it with you. First of all, if you already have a Scratch account, that's great. You will need to create a new one for this class because it's linked to my class account, and that's what allows me to see your projects and give you grades for them. Okay, if you use your own, I can't see them, and you'd have to give me your login information, and I don't think that's a good idea. So please just create a new account for this class, and you can take whatever you've learned in it and apply it into your own Scratch account if you would like to, but please use a new Scratch account with this program. There will be video instructions, and then you will do an activity in Scratch. So I'm going to walk you through the login process now. I'm going to share my screen. And you'll go to just a new tab. Okay, and in your address bar, you're going to type in g.co/CS first, F-I-R-S-T. Okay, and hit enter, and you'll get this screen that comes up, Google for Education. Okay, in the top right corner over here, you'll see a blue sign in button. Go ahead and click that. And you want to choose I'm a student. Okay, because this is the first time that you're logging in, you will need to enter your class code, and it is lowercase n, lowercase p, 3, 9, lowercase f, lowercase k. And I will also copy and paste that into the email so that you can just copy and paste it over if you'd like. Okay, so you'll enter that in NP39FK. Then hit next. It will ask, is this your class? Make sure it says class name 1920, try 3, Computer Science 1, teacher Mrs. Miskin. And then you'll go ahead and hit yes, join. Okay, when it asks, do you need a new CS First username and password? Yes, we haven't done this before, so it will create a username and password for you. Now, this isn't linked in any way to your school account. You can't choose it, and it's just totally randomly generated, both the username and the password. So on this next screen, you will need to write it down, and I do need you to send this to me, okay? So when you get to this question, hit yes, and it will give you a username and password. They're all going to look the same. So it'll be a lowercase CS and then a string of 7 numbers, and then a password that usually starts with 2 numbers and then has a word after it. Okay, please write it down and then email me what it is. I don't have any way to link this to you unless you email me, okay? So I may start sending out emails if I get a bunch of usernames that have no emails with them that tell me who it is, okay? So make sure you write it down. Then you can check, yes, I wrote my username and password down, and click the blue sign in button. Okay, what I have assigned to you in this unit is called a storytelling club. So there are 8 activities that you're going to do in this club, and you'll watch a video in CS First. So you'll want to log in to this website every time, and then it will give you a link to open up Scratch in a second window. Okay, so you want to keep both of them open. You'll watch a video in one, and then you'll do the activity in Scratch in the other tab. Okay, so you'll get this little green screen, this little green tab that says current activities, storytelling, 0 of 8 activities completed. Okay, there are 8. You have 2 weeks to work on this. So you should have plenty of time. It will probably take you about 20 minutes, and maybe even 15 minutes to do each one. Okay, so go ahead and just click on storytelling. And this first screen will give you an overview of what it looks like. Now it says 45 to 90 minutes each. It's not going to take you that long. If you do find that it is taking a lot longer for you to go through them, please email me and just let me know your progress on this one. I will be very lenient with the grading, just because you're not in the classroom to use that time here. Okay, so what you'll have is activity 1 is on dialogue. So you'll just get into the program and figure out how it works. And then it will give you a series of videos or add-ons that you'll be able to do. And that's all for the first activity. Now in Scratch, I expect 8 projects that are named according to what this is. So I'd like you to name it Activity 1 or Activity 2 or Activity 3. Some of them will be starter projects that they give you, and some will be things that you create on your own. Okay, so I just want to be able to match your project to the activity, because this is really creative. There's no right or wrong answer with these. You're going to be creating your own sprites and movement and backgrounds and things like that. So I don't have a way to really easily match what you've done with what the activity is telling you to do. So please name it according to that activity, and I'll show you where to do that in just a minute. Okay, so first of all, you're going to start activity 1. And it will go through a video. I'm not going to watch that with you right now. You can watch that on your own. And then you'll go down through and answer some questions that it's asking. And when you get done, you can go ahead and go on to the next one. Okay. So now it will give you another overview of what the screens are going to look like. Watch that video on your own. When you're done, you'll hit the green next. Okay. So on screen 3, Introduction to Dialogue and Sequencing, this will explain how you work with Scratch. Now that username and password that you just barely set up on Google CS First is the same one that you'll use on Scratch. They actually will create the account at the same time at both places. So you'll log in with that CS and then the numbers and your 2-digit number and the word that it's come up with that it gives you. Log in with that here and on Scratch. Okay. So right here, you'll watch this video. Over here on the left side will be your video. Then on the right side are your instructions. Okay? So once you have read through the instructions, then you'll do those things. So instruction 1 says click the Scratch link next to the video, which you can see link down here. Sign in using the information in your club passport. So that's the username and the password that you just set up. And then you'll hit create to start a new project. Okay, so this video will explain how that process works. And I'm going to do those steps for you just so that you can see what it looks like. So click this and see it opens in a new tab. I can go back to this one. Sign in using the information in your club passport. Okay, and you will sign in by clicking this sign in here at the top. And I am going to grab mine, so just 1 second. Okay, just had to grab my username and password. So I would sign in with that I had just created. Okay, remember not to use your personal one. Okay, and then I'll hit sign in. And this will just get me logged in. So now I've done that step. I'm going to go back to the previous tab. Okay, so I've signed in. Step 3 says click create to start a new project. So I'm going to go back to this tab and find where it says create here at the top and create. Now this gets me to the Scratch code editor screen. It'll take just a minute to load. Okay, and for those of you who've used Scratch, this is very, very familiar. That's okay. Let me go back here. Okay, now that's all the steps that you will do for this particular video. Once you're done with the video, click next. Okay, now this looks very familiar. So you'll go through another video. On the instructions, it says choose a story starter. So down below gives you some things, just some ideas to start with, a story that you could write a little program about. Okay, so then you're next to add 2 sprites, make the sprites face each other, add a backdrop, make the sprite say the starter phrase you selected. Okay, so all of these things in adding and making the sprites face each other and backdrops and things, those are all explained in the video over here. Okay, so don't just do the instructions, watch the video, and then do the instructions as it does it. And you can always pause, do this step, and then come back to it. That's why it's really important that you keep both tabs open at the same time. Okay, once you've done that step, you will hit next. It will give you some more instructions here in the video, and you'll just follow along, okay? All right, so you will do that for each activity. I'm not going to go through all of the screens. You get the idea. You watch the video, it gives you the steps, do those on Scratch. Now let's go back to Scratch. Up here in the top, this is where I want you to name your project according to the activity. Now, sometimes some of the activities will give you a project to start. So you'll click on the link and it will open something for you with sprites and backdrops already added in. And so it will have a name up here already. Delete that, please. And then write in whatever activity you're working on. This is really, really important. This makes it much easier for me to grade. If it's not named correctly, I will mark down on it. So please, please, please make sure you come in and click your mouse in here, delete what that is, and write in activity 1, okay? Or day 1 or whatever you'd like to do, but as long as it has that number 1 or number 2 or whichever activity you're working on. That's really, really critical. Please make sure that you rename it. Then, when you're done, you'll want to hit the share so that I can see it. All right, it will save for you, but until you hit share, it will not send it to me so that I can grade it. And so if I don't have any projects in there, I don't know that you've done anything. You do have to make sure you hit share. Now you can log back in. If you want to edit it again, hit the blue See Inside. Okay, and now it shows that it has been shared. All right, and sometimes you may see a save, but if it's still orange and says share, then you haven't shared it with me, and so I don't have any record of it. Okay, so for the next 2 weeks, this goes from April 27th to May 8th. I'd like you to be working on this storytelling activity. You should have 8 projects total between those 2 weeks, excuse me. So you can do them all in 1 week. You can do 4 each week, however you need to work it out over those couple of weeks. If you get done and would like to do more, let me show you what you can do. And this is not required, okay? Storytelling is the only one that I will be grading on. So you would go back here to your main computer, Google for Education CS First screen. Now under here is a link to your storytelling. But if you go up just a little bit, either here to curriculum or here, you hit curriculum. This gives you a whole list of other activities also. Remember to do storytelling, but you are welcome to do more than storytelling. Okay, here's some 1-hour activities. And these will follow that same format. They'll have some kind of an instruction, and then you'll do the code in Scratch. Okay, here's some Hour of Code activities. You might have seen them on hourofcode.com. The multi-day activities. I always start out with storytelling. If we'd been in school or in class, in person, we would have also done music and sound, but with the break and all of the different schedules and things, we're not going to do that second one. You are welcome to do it if you want, if you have time for it, okay? Because you can come back to it and go through it. There are also a little bit more advanced projects like Friends, Fashion and Design, and Art. And then the most advanced are sports and game design. Okay, so if you want to go through any of these, in addition to storytelling, that is totally okay. All right, so hopefully that makes it a little more clear what you need to be doing for the next couple of weeks. If you get stuck, go back to the video and watch it over again. Like I said before, this is really creative. All right, there's no right or wrong answer. Sometimes your code may not work exactly the way that you think. So if that happens, watch the video again. You might just have something out of order or a screen that you missed somewhere. So follow those instructions and then let me know if you have any questions or problems with that. And then once again, please email me your usernames and passwords so that I can keep track of them to give you credit at the end of those 2 weeks. Okay, thank you so much.